PMEA is a statewide nonprofit organization of over 4,000 members representing those engaged in music instruction at all levels, from preschool through colleges and universities, as well as retired educators, college students majoring in music education, and those in the music products industry. One of PMEA's goals is to strengthen music education and the music education profession throughout Pennsylvania. Last month, you may have seen students performing daily throughout the Capitol. That wasn't a coincidence that they were all here at the same time during the same month. March is Music in Our Schools Month, and we're proud to have helped provide those performing groups. As you heard those students perform, we hope you remember how many years of practice and hard work brought them to where they were for those performances. These students are an example of how strong music education is in Pennsylvania. So, since today is Music Education Advocacy Day, we've brought some more students here to perform with you, and you'll hear some of them performing over in the East Wing. Some performed this morning, some will be performing this afternoon. But we wanted to start this event off by showcasing some students from Delaware Valley High School. It's the Delaware Valley High School Trio, and if they can come on over, they will be playing London Trio No. 1 in C major Allegro moderato. So we'll turn it over to them for a few minutes. As you know, support for music programs comes in a variety of ways. Parents and community are crucial in that support, but so are school administrators. Providing the appropriate materials, schedules, and staff are all critical in a successful music program. So today we are lucky to have enough with us Dr. John Bell, who is the superintendent of the Delaware Valley School District, the school district you just saw. Dr. Bell is the superintendent of, as I said, Delaware Valley School District, and is the recipient of the 2019 PMEA Outstanding Superintendent Award. And we invite him up here to say a few words.
Let me just bring this down to normal size. He's a little taller than I am. And thank you to Esther, Mary, and Brian for that performance. We also have more Delaware Valley students right here who were just performing in the Ryan office building. It was beautiful. People say, what are you talking about music for when we're down here advocating about more state funds to schools? And I said, it's very, very simple. The bottom line is we need increased funding in our basic education subsidies. We need more money in special ed funding. We need more money in Act 44 safety and security money, because if the state government doesn't fund those three priorities, then it becomes a tightening squeeze. It's a noose. And then money that we would normally spend on music and the arts might go somewhere else. So it's crucial that we get state education funding, special ed funding, and safety and security funding, because we want to educate the kids to truly be well-rounded and very, very productive citizens. We're not obsessed with ELA and math scores. We always talk about we want to be successful with them, but we don't want to be obsessed with state tests and national tests. We want to do well, but there's so much more to it. And every kid here will tell you that they don't come to school looking forward to taking PSSAs. They come looking forward to a concert or a performance. Or we had Mary Poppins this weekend with our musical, and it was one of the best musicals I've seen in my years at Delaware Valley, dating all the way back to 1997. So the bottom line is music in our schools and performing arts are crucial to having a well-rounded, awesome high school and a well-rounded, awesome school district like we have at Delaware Valley. We are blessed, but each year it gets harder and harder and harder to fund everything we do. Now, I worked as an assistant superintendent in New York State before I came to Delaware Valley, and I saw what happened when there wasn't enough funding. The bottom line is teachers and elective areas got cut, and kids had 2 and 3 study halls a day because all that was funded was the basic educational needs and not all the things to make them well-rounded citizens and to help parlay them into their interest moving on to college and career. So it's crucial that we get that funding because it protects music, the arts, family and consumer science, and all those other elective areas that they may not seem like a big deal to people here in Harrisburg, but they're a big deal to our kids. And we thank the state legislators for all their support over the years, but we need them to step up another notch again this year. Thank you very much.
So that I think you can tell is why that is the 2019 PMEA Outstanding Superintendent. And I think that that is a really valuable message that you're hearing from a decision maker in a school district about their commitment to music education in their district. So I would challenge you, Dr. Bell, to tell your superintendent colleagues around the state, who many of them are with you on that, but for those that aren't, if you could please continue to spread that message, because we appreciate what you're doing. So thank you so much. So in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about some specific asks we have of policymakers here in the building today, including the need for increased education funding that is fair and equitable. But we're going to get to that in a moment. So, as we mentioned just a little bit earlier, March is designated as a month to celebrate many arts disciplines. One of those is music, and thus March is known as Music in Our Schools Month. So it is my great pleasure to introduce Representative Eddie Pashinski, himself a former music teacher and performer, with a special resolution from last month for Music in Our Schools Month.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's always a pleasure to be here. And how about that superintendent? That superintendent gets it, huh? I have a question. What is music? Exactly. It's hard to explain, isn't it? It's sound. What does it do? Why do we have it? I knew I would get you. We know what it is, we just don't know how to explain it. You know why? Because it's a part of every individual's innate human being. Everybody feels emotions of love, of power, to woo, to adorn, to honor, patriotic. The beautiful trio that played today gave us a total different emotion, didn't it? Every single emotion that we as Americans, we as people, we as human beings feel. So when every songwriter writes a song, they're trying to make a message in that song, expressing the emotions that we have. It is one of the most powerful influences on humanity. That's why every culture has some form of music. No matter where you go, they have their music because it's a part of life. It is so important. And you know what some of the studies are now beginning to discover? They're beginning to discover that the power of music influences the brain. It stimulates us. We are finding time and time again now, music not only allows us enjoyment, it not only gives us that emotion, but it can also heal, help people recover from their accidents or their illness. So let me tell you, what you're doing and a part being in music is outstanding. As a music teacher, former music teacher and choral director, I saw what music did to many of my kids, many of my students that didn't, fit in. And then all of a sudden, music ignited them and their personality came out. And then they went on to have the courage, to have the confidence that music gives you to go out and be a success in life. So from that standpoint, I can speak with authority. I've seen it time and time again. Superintendent Bell, you speak from seeing the power of music. Anybody that's been involved in music understands how that can transcend into many positive things. And that's why it's such an honor for me to present this citation, and I'd like to read it, if I could, to the members of the music administration. Mark, could you bring the folks up? And I'd like to read this so that I could present it to you, and then we could put this in our annals of history, right? So it says, whereas the study of music is basic to a complete education, provides a competitive edge for successful educational reform, engages students in individual and group activities, develops creativity, teaches problem solving, and develops critical and evaluative skills. Is that true? You're darn right it is. Whereas music education helps students acquire skills of production and performance of music, as well as understanding the history and the history of culture. Is that true? Absolutely. Where music educators of this Commonwealth are committed to maintaining and improving school music programs for all students, regardless of their socioeconomic status and their abilities. Is that true? You're darn right. Doesn't matter what side of the tracks you come on, you can be a great musician and influence people. Whereas each year, the National Association of Music Education designates March as Music in Our Schools Month, the time of the year when we celebrate music education, when it becomes the focus of our schools, the focus across the nation, and it should be the focus every day to make sure every school district has a quality music education program because it benefits all students. It is my honor to present this citation on behalf of the members of the House of Representatives to this fine, august body of administrators who are in charge of your future.
Thank you.
So therefore, come on over. We'll take a picture. We're choreographing this. Thank you. Thank you very much. Power of music. Keep making it. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie, and it's so great to have a former music educator in the House who certainly keeps that front of mind as he's considering legislation here and pointing that out to his colleagues as well. So we can't thank him for all that he does for music education and for PMEA. So today, music educators and students are visiting with legislatures and their staff members to talk about the importance of music education programs and to address some specific policy issues. They are telling the important story of the value of music education, but also the way music education fits into the overall educational landscape. It's important to remember that music educators don't teach their students with the end goal that all of them will become professional musicians. Rather, the goal is to create students that have a lifelong interest in music in some form and to instill their interest in being part of our shared culture. But as I mentioned earlier, we're not in the Capitol today just to celebrate music education. We're here to let policymakers in this building know about the importance of music education and that we need to properly fund education as a whole so all students have equitable access to school music and arts programs. Allow me to briefly discuss some of our policy issues. First, we are pleased to see that Governor Wolf has again proposed an increase in the basic education subsidy in his 2019-2020 budget proposal. We agree with Governor Wolf that there needs to be an increase in the basic education subsidy. We differ with him only that we want fewer restrictions on the use of any increase going to schools and want those funding decisions to be made at the school district level. Pennsylvania continues to rank near the bottom in the nation when it comes to the state share of pre-K to 12 education funding. As a result, local school districts and communities are forced to make up that difference. And while we have a funding formula in place for state education dollars, the percentage of funds flowing through that formula is a small percentage of the state's total education spending. Funding increases should take into account the rising mandated costs school districts are facing. Beyond the 2019-2020 budget, the General Assembly must provide annual state funding to school districts in an amount as distributed through a formula that supports the principles of equity, adequacy, accountability, and probably most importantly, predictability. In addition to appropriately funding the basic education subsidy, we ask the General Assembly to continue to fund school safety at the same appropriation as in the 2018-2019 budget. School safety is still a concern for schools, and this additional funding has already proved beneficial to districts across the Commonwealth. Reducing this appropriation would place an additional burden on schools to use their basic education subsidy for school safety instead of other priorities, like music and the arts. Continuing to fund the School Safety Fund is crucial. It's also important to us that the state continues to appropriately fund the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education. These institutions are home to some of the finest music education programs in the state, and they provide unique opportunities for students. I think we can all agree that we should support future educators as we can, and start by appropriately funding the state system schools. We support Governor Wolf's proposal to add $7 million more to the state system allocation. And our final policy ask today is specific to the arts. The Pennsylvania Department of Education has been without a full-time arts education advisor after this position was removed from the 2011-2012 state budget. This position is vital to educators to help them navigate the ever-changing teaching landscape. Restoring this position is crucial to assist music and arts educators teach our future, the children of this Commonwealth. Policymakers will be presented with all of these legislative priorities today, and we hope they will keep them in mind as we come to the close of this fiscal and school year and begin planning for the new year. For more information about these policy asks, please visit our table here in the rotunda, where you can pick up a copy of them. So, music education is about students. And all throughout the Capitol this month, last month, and especially today, you've heard student groups performing. Those performances are a result of years of hard work and practice. So with us now to talk about how much music has been an important part of her life is Hannah Brown, a senior at United High School. In addition to her involvement in music in her school, she has also been a member of some of the PMEA All-State ensembles, which is a tremendous accomplishment. Hannah? There you are. Move the mic.
Music has had a significant impact on my life and has given me the proper tools and skills necessary to be successful in today's society. Through my musical involvement, I have learned and expanded on the 4 C's of 21st century skills. These skills were determined to be the most important for education in the modern world. The first C stands for critical thinking. In order to be successful in music, you have to be able to actively find solutions to problems. I attribute my critical thinking skills to my involvement in music. I have been involved in band and chorus since elementary school. My time in music programs has taught me how to continually develop and excel in critical thinking. Music combines the areas of mathematics, visual, auditory, and motor functions, and language development. Music has provided me with the skill to see more than one solution to a problem, and has broadened my horizons. The next C is for creativity. Music is all about creating and sharing. In a band or choir, we are constantly creating sounds and music and figuring out how to perform our best. Music has helped develop my creative abilities and has allowed me to grow and become a better musician. While the music on a page tells musicians what to play or sing, we are able to add our own interpretations of the music, bringing our own personal creativity to the song or piece. Each time I pick up an instrument to play or open my mouth to sing, I am preparing to create music. Creativity can go a long way and can prove to be a fruitful skill in future jobs and careers. The third C is collaboration. Collaboration is one of the most important skills in music. It is extremely important and vital that an ensemble can successfully and effectively work together to reach a common goal. An immense amount of listening to one another is needed to be able to produce the best sound. I have had the privilege of being a member of the 2018 PMEA All-State Wind Ensemble and the 2019 PMEA All-State Concert Band. In both of these instances, I have had to collaborate with many students from all across Pennsylvania, most of whom I have never met before. Our concerts required us to utilize concentration and focus. We had to learn how to fit into the new ensemble and how we needed to adjust and adapt to each other. We all had to collectively collaborate with one another to put together an amazing concert. Music has taught me how to collaborate and work together with people. Communication is the final C. My involvement in PMEA festivals has granted me the opportunity to talk and engage with fellow musicians passionate about music. Through music festivals, I've had the chance to grow and expand my communication skills. From my first PMEA festival in 10th grade to the last one earlier this month, I have developed greatly in my communication skills. Music festivals allowed me to go out of my comfort zone and to become a more social person. In addition, I have also been able to make many numerous lifelong friendships through PMEA festivals. Effective communication is an important skill that I will use throughout the rest of my life. All of the skills that I have obtained and developed through music involvement help me to become a better student and human. I have the necessary skills of critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication that are all vital in becoming successful in life and in a future career. I know that no matter where my path in life may go, I will always be able to rely on the skills I acquired through music to guide my ways and ensure my success. Thank you.
We have a music ed lab that has like boom whackers and egg shakers and drums and things like that to use in our classrooms that we teach. And a lot of things are broken and unusable, so having the money to replace those. Supplies for the methods classes that we have to take, like woodwind methods and brass methods, having the supplies to pay for bassoon reeds or pay for oboe reeds. If you play the oboe or bassoon, you know they are very expensive reeds, so having the funding to supply those to our students instead of them coming out of pocket. And also, the final thing I will state is the pianos in the practice rooms in Swope. The ones in the practice rooms are not attended to. Some of them don't even play correctly. The ones in the recital hall and the small ensemble room, yes, they're fine. But the ones in the practice rooms where we need to be better music educators and learn piano for the skills we'll need in the future, they don't play well. So those are the ideas I and my colleagues have come up with for the funding we might receive from Governor Wolf. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalista. And so I will say, just from hearing you speak there, the future of music education is strong in Pennsylvania. I think that's so important that you looked at what the situation is, and you've said this is where we can use the money. And the quote of the day came from Kalista. And early on in what she was saying, music was just my home. And I think that speaks to what so many students have found as they come into a music education program. That's where they fit. That's where they fit in their school community. And that ties us back to everything that Hannah said. Once you're in that place, all of those other things in your life of collaboration and communication and everything else she spoke about just start to happen. But it's when you fall into that place in music and find out that music is your home. So thank you so much for that, Kalista. So we thank you all for attending today and hope that you'll take the messages you heard to policymakers at the federal, state, and most importantly, local level. We must keep music and arts as a part of a well-rounded education for all students, and to do that, we must appropriately fund K-12 education as well as the state system of higher education here in Pennsylvania. So to finish up things today, I'd like to introduce Tina Bennett, PMEA's president.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Pennsylvania Music Education Association, I would like to thank you all for taking the time to be here today for this very important opportunity to share and express our beliefs that every child from preschool through 12th grade and beyond deserves access to a quality music education. Furthermore, we believe that this sequential and standard-based education must be taught by a certified music educator. My name is Tina Bennett, and I'm proud to be the current PMEA state president and a 35-year veteran teacher at the Clarion-Limestone Area School District. Pennsylvania Music Education Association is a statewide nonprofit organization of over 4,000 members dedicated to promoting the musical development of all Pennsylvanians. We've been in existence since 1933, and we include music educators from early childhood through higher education, as well as music industry, merchandising, and publishing organizations. We're also affiliated with the National Association for Music Education. Our mission is to advance comprehensive and innovative music education for all teachers and students through quality teaching, rigorous learning, and meaningful musical engagement. Ben Franklin stated, "Tell me and I forget. Teach me, I remember. Involve me, and I learn." This is what we're talking about today. Music education gets the learner involved, whether it is in a performance ensemble, creating their own compositions, being a member of a community ensemble, or just playing guitar for their own enjoyment. Music can touch the lives of so many people and can be maintained throughout the life of the learner. Many studies are focused on the need for a new skill set for today's learner. How do we as a society combat the adverse effect of technology and social media? It is a proven fact that music and the arts contribute to the development of the essential cognitive systems, which include reasoning, creativity, thinking, decision-making, as well as problem-solving. Music enhances the development and maintains our brain's memory system. Music can be an outlet for expression and a means to a more empathetic society. Music and its inclusive powers has a way of bringing us together to celebrate, to grieve, to express pride or joy. From a young child singing to themselves when they play, to a beautiful symphony performed in a great hall, to the bedside of a hospice patient, music brings so much more than just entertainment to our lives. We heard today from a high school student whose lives were changed by a quality music education program. Her story is not unique. Hundreds of thousands of students are affected by music experiences every day. And with the passing of the Every Student Succeeds Act, funding for programs that provide our students with not only traditional ensembles, but new and contemporary musical experience can now exist. We would like to have funding so that every child in Pennsylvania will be able to create their own story. We want to create the ability to impact every single child's education. I would like to thank everyone who made today possible. Mr. Mark Despotakis, our PMEA Advocacy Council Chair, our PMEA office staff under the leadership of Executive Director Ms. Abigail Young. From Pennsylvania House of Representatives, the 121st District, our friend and outstanding supporter of music education, the Honorable Eddie Day Pashinski. Our PMEA 2019 Outstanding Superintendent, Dr. John Bell from Delaware Valley School District. Hannah Brown, a student from United High School, and Kathy Malego, Associate Professor of the Slippery Rock University. Kalista Heidkamp, a sophomore music education at Slippery Rock. Henry Perlberg, the immediate past president of PMEA. Mr. David Dietz, our arts education liaison for the Department of Music Ed, and our student musicians and directors. Please remember, music is science. Music is math. Music is language, both native and foreign. Music is history. Music is physical education. Music develops insights and demands research. Music helps make us human. That's why we teach it, not because we expect everyone to become a music educator, but because we as a society will be more human because of what it provides for us, and so that we will recognize and appreciate true beauty. Thank you.